Kim Todd, welcome to the Further Forward podcast.
Hi, Ashley. Good to see you.
It is so nice to have you on. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for making the time. I really appreciate getting to talk to you.
This will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Here we go, right out of the gate.
Okay.
Who are you and how are you?
Ooh, those are two really big
These
questions.
are the hardest questions. Like we're getting them out of the way.
Who am I? You know what? It seems so simple to say I'm a working mom, but I am. And I do feel like I'm a better mom because I work.
Ooh,
Um, I am a person who cares about other people, and my work is I'm so passionate about it because I actually get to do this every day and, to help other women kind of find who they are and gain confidence. And I feel so fortunate to be able to do that. So, in how I am, I'm good. I'm great.
okay. This was not on my list, but I have to go back. Why does being a working mother for you make you feel like you're a better mother?
I think because I've seen, my kids are older now, they're 22 and 20. And, I've seen them how take pride in the fact that I work and in what I do, in the work that I do. I've heard them tell their friends what I do, and I think that for me, it's like I feel like I'm just setting a really good example for them that you can do both if that's what you choose to do.
I love that. I mean, I also have to say, you do have a pretty cool job. So if your if your mom is going to work, she could just like be a badass that runs an amazing organization in Boston. Like no big deal, very casual. Um
Yeah. When they were younger, they'd be like, my mom's the boss lady. And it's just like, it's
you
so cute.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Um so cat's kind of out of the bag then. Why don't you tell us what you do. I would love if you could give an overview of Dress for Success because it's hard to talk about what you do without naming the organization and its incredible impact.
Yep.
So let's just get into the work.
Okay. So yes, I am the president of Dress for Success Boston, and I've been in this role for almost 20 years, which I can't believe. It's
Snap.
crazy. I love it so much. I just can't picture myself doing anything else. But
God.
so what we do is we put it this way. This is what I like to say. Like it's really hard to find a job. We
Yes.
all know how hard it is to find a job, right? You get the resumes out, the cover letters, you try to get that interview. Then you get the interview, and what's the first thing everybody thinks about? Like, what am I gonna wear?
What am I going to wear?
What am I gonna wear? So think about this. Not only are you looking for a job, you get the interview. What if you don't have anything to wear and you don't have the funds to buy something to wear? Sometimes you have friends that you can borrow from, but what if you don't?
Mhm.
What if you don't have a support system and you're on your own? And that's what we do. We give women this clothing so that they can actually put their best foot forward in an interview and get the job. And it's amazing to see over all the years I've been here is to see a woman when you put something on her that makes her look good and feel good, it changes her whole demeanor. I mean, her whole you just see it. Like you see them stand up taller and you just see them kind of step into what they think they can be,
Right.
and it's so cool. So we do that. We dress women, and then once they get the job, they can come back and get more outfits to get them started on their work wardrobe,
Okay.
which is great. And we do sessions for women once they're working to help them retain the job because, as you know, getting a job is the first step, but you got to keep the job to, break the cycle of poverty, to gain financial independence and really be out there on your own. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do. We also work with youth. So we have kind of a newer program called Confidence Days where we do a session about what to wear, how to dress professionally, how to have a professional image, how to behave,
Yeah.
the soft skills that go along with it. And I feel like it really helps girls get off on the right foot.
Yeah.
So, so that's what we do, and we've served, 19,000 women since we
Wow.
started. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of lives that have been affected, hopefully
Yeah,
positively is, my hope.
I would
Um,
imagine. Oh my
but
goodness.
it's so cool. Sometimes I'll go out to like an event or something if a partner agency is doing like a graduation or something, and I'll go and a woman will walk up to me and she'll say, "You're with Dress for Success." She's like, "I was there 10 years ago and I still have that jacket you gave me. And I will never forget what you did for me, what your organization did for me." And that is what makes all this work worthwhile, is to see that.
Sometimes, you want to make a difference.
Mhm.
You volunteer or you give money or you engage in service in your own way and you
Yeah.
don't always get to see the impact,
Right.
right?
Right.
And especially a decade later or 2 decades later, most of us will never know how or if we actually changed someone's life or broke a cycle of poverty in someone's family. So for you to get to have a front row seat to that is pretty incredible.
It really is. I mean, I've met children of
Oh my
mothers who
gosh.
come to us. It's heartwarming. Like,
Yeah.
it still brings a tear to my eye, and when it happens, because it's so touching
Oh my
to
gosh.
hear that. And I can't tell you, most of the women who have been here will tell me that they've kept the clothing that they received because it meant so much to them, like, some will say, "Oh, it doesn't fit me anymore, but I still have it," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that it seems like such a small thing, but it can be life-changing. Just clothing. Who would have thought, you know?
Well, but I'm curious, when we think about the kinds of people who may not have the clothing to go to an interview or to go to work every day, I would imagine that all of us, myself included, we're human, we judge, we make assumptions. You might be thinking about a very specific type of person who needs this service, even
Yeah.
while knowing that arguably there's no more middle class, that lots of people are suffering, right? That 1 in 4 families can't afford to put food on the table. So can you tell us a little bit about the diversity of those 19,000 women? Have you ever been shocked or who gets dressed by Dress for Success?
The diversity of our women is massive. I mean, they're all ages. Like, when we do a pie chart of the age ranges, it's, like, really evenly split up. Like, you don't see, like, one big group.
Wow.
It's very diverse in backgrounds, in education levels, um, histories, where they're coming from. Um, th I mean, we had women with master's degrees come who just for
Wow.
whatever reason, they had to start all over. Maybe they came from another country and
Mhm.
were like a CPA there, but had to start all over here. Or we had a pilot once, like a
Wow.
pilot
Like
who
flying planes.
yes, yes. So, I mean, it really runs the gamut, like people who have never worked before, people who have been in the professional world and just had something happen and
Right.
had to, you know, pick, you know, pick themselves back up again and do it. And it's just, who's to say it can't happen to anybody? You just don't know, right?
Yes.
So, like, it's never, you'd think this job, the one thing I say about this job, just when I think I've seen everything, I realize I haven't. It's just,
Mm,
it, there's just so many different women with so many different stories who come to us, and some will be very open and tell us their stories, and some won't.
right.
So some really horrible things, and just to see these women how they bounce back, and just the pure power of the human spirit never ceases to amaze me.
I have chills. Like my whole back of my neck, down my arms, everything because it just it's so easy to lose hope. Right? We watch the news every day. Things are devastating for so many people and it's easy to get cynical. It's easy to say, why try? Why care? And so to know that there are plenty of reasons to try and to care and to keep going and to be determined, especially as a woman, is just it again, I just get chills. It reminds me of like, we're here for a reason.
Well, absolutely. We are, and, that's what it is, the resilience that I see in these women
Mm,
every day, um, just gives I have a different perspective because of all of
right.
these women, You think you have a problem, but then you see someone else who's like, "Ooh," puts it in perspective, that's for sure.
I was just about to ask you, if there's ever been moments over your career where your identity or your privilege has like come up against someone else, like where you ever felt uh humbled or called in, or did you ever make assumptions about people? Like were there ever any moments where you had to learn some lessons yourself in doing this work?
Yeah, I can tell you, like, when I was kind of new here, we were really small, so there were a lot of times I would work with the clients a lot, um,
Oh,
and, there was a volunteer was having a hard time with one of our clients. She said she just, "I need some help." The client, this woman is very upset. Um, and I was in the I was in the honeymoon phase. I was like, "Oh, isn't this such great work that we're doing?" And you get in, this is really great. And when I went to talk to the woman, she was it was about her pride, and she was feeling degraded. She's like, "Why does this woman need to tell me how to dress and tell me what to wear?" And I was like, "Wow." I took a step back. I was like, I stepped in her shoes for a minute, and I was like, "Wow, okay. You know what? It is great work, but also we have to think about where these women are and meet them where they are." And I said, "That is not the case at all. This is about you finding what you want. So we will step back. You can shop. We can be here. We can give you advice." Um, so it's that thing when you get so caught up in what you're doing and how great it is, you can't forget about who you're serving and where they're coming from. And
right.
I think that was super eye-opening for me, and it changed the way that I see women when they come in,
Yeah,
and when they're having a problem, it's not that they're upset with it, they're just it's something it's not us. It's not all about us, It
makes sense.
actually is all about them, to be
That makes
honest.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to like dip into this savior mentality. Even sometimes I found myself going in and out of this working with the kids, just wanting to help, wanting to fill a need, wanting to, especially when you're seeing young kids in situations that they don't deserve to be in, that they didn't ask to be in, and you just want to alleviate any suffering, right? It comes from such a good place of like, let me help, let me help. but
Yes, yes.
but you can also do real harm thinking that you have all the answers, thinking that you know the way, thinking that, you're the only one with resources, you're the only one that can solve this problem. But you do just kind of have to work through it and be in it long enough and also have humbling moments to kind of pull you back into just being human with other people.
And, like, really paying attention and really listening, and that I love that phrase, like, we have one mouth and 2 ears for a reason.
Amen. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So
It's
just
true.
to be quiet and to listen and to really listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart, to figure out where women are coming from. And
Right.
oh, my life is so full because of all these amazing women I've met.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, so go back for me. Is this what did you always see yourself in a service type place, a leadership type place when you were, I don't know, elementary school, middle school, even high school, maybe? Who did you think you would become? And how does that compare to who you actually are now?
Ashley, you're gonna laugh.
Oh,
And I
God.
tell you what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be a movie star. That was like the only thing I ever wanted my whole life. Like,
I love it.
I wanted to be a movie star. That was it. Like, That was it. Like,
What
so
happened?
I went to Emerson College. I was a theater major. I
My
finished
heart.
school. Huh?
I said my heart. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You're asking. I'm being honest. That's what I wanted. That was my only thing that I thought I could do, that I thought I wanted to do. And then when I finished school, I had to get a job. Like, you're not I wasn't discovered. Darn it, I wasn't discovered on the street, you know? So,
Yeah.
I had to work for it, and I'm in Boston. Like, if you wanna do that, you really have to sacrifice everything to do that.
Everything.
And I don't think I realized that until I was there, like, "Okay, what next?" Right?
Mhm.
So I was doing I was in Boston, I was thinking I gotta get to LA or New York because that's where
Yep.
you gotta go if you're doing that, and I needed a job and I needed money, so I just temped. I was a temp, and I was a receptionist at a social service agency, and I did a really good job, they hired me, and then, like, I just got into, like, fundraising. I met one of my mentors who, like, he brought me through, he taught me everything, like, I knew, fundraising, everything, and I learned it, and I loved it. So I just kind of fell into it, and I just loved knowing that what I'm doing is helping other people, like, it means something to me. So, I still kinda dabbled in, like, community theater and that kinda thing. I don't think
Mhm.
that will ever go away.
Yeah.
Um, Now that my kids are older, maybe I can get back to it, but, I do feel that I use a lot of the skills I gain, like public speaking, just I don't know, I just I it you never know, it's hard to know what you're gonna end up doing, but this is what I ended up doing, and I do feel like I used my training to
Yeah,
do what I do now too.
for sure.
So, that's my story. So I never thought I'd be here.
Oh my gosh, that's so these are these are like my favorite stories when people are like it's like way left, you know? It's like when I started because and you're a mother and your kids are out of high school, so they're starting to likely learn that life is not as linear as
Mm,
you think it is when you're going through that like K through 12 trajectory and someone's pushing you along one thing to the next. And
yep.
then suddenly you realize like there's no one there pushing you to the next thing. And so I would also argue that your theater training probably really allowed you to be empathetic versus sympathetic, right? You could put yourself into someone's shoes because it's kind of what you do as an actor.
I never looked at it that way, but that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
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 See, the theater, every kid needs to do. I will die on this hill. Every kid needs to do like some kind of theater, improv. I don't care what it is, but you have to be able to get up in front of people. You
Yep.
have to be able to see yourself in other people. And then I also think that every kid should work in some kind of customer service. I don't care if it's McDonald's, a retail job. Learning how to deal with the general public is a life skill because it is not easy. Learning how
No,
to talk to people, being
I
off your phone, making eye contact.
I completely agree with you. And you know what's so funny is what you said when you said improv. One thing I'll never forget. Did you do theater too?
Yeah,
Oh
that's why I'm so
my
that's why
God.
I'm so excited. I'm like, "Yes, this is my
I'm a
moment."
theater person. Um, when you do improv, the worst thing you can say or think is no. So when you're doing improv,
Yes.
you have to always be in a place of yes. So I feel like in this role, I've I always think about that. When someone brings me a new idea, I keep myself in that yes place because you just never know where it's going to go, right? And I
Mm,
just feel like you have to be open-minded and try new things. And guess what? If it doesn't work, and then you go do something else. But I feel
right.
like that's helped me a lot.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And how do you, as a leader, because you have a lot of responsibilities and you're like, driving this ship forward. And so, is there some kind of way that you balance finding that yes or helping someone get to a yes, honoring ideas, Like, is there some framework or system that you measure up against to say, we can try it, but it's got to be this way, or we can try it, but maybe 6 months from now? Or how do you manage new ideas with driving the business forward? Am I asking that right? Does that sound
Yeah, no,
stupid?
that's a really interesting question, and yes, I mean, you can't just go crazy if someone says, "Hey,
Right,
let's," you know, it does have to be within, like, what we do, and,
right.
staying true to our mission is always important, and always putting the client first is what we go by. Um, I have to say that I work beside some really amazing women, so all of the women who work here are just awesome, and
Mhm.
we work as a team. There's not like a hierarchy. We work as a team. And, I think we our goal is to empower each other. Um, I know I feel like I'm veering off from what your question was because I do take risks sometimes,
Mhm.
but not to harm the organization in any way. So the organization is always my top priority and the integrity of the organization and all that. So do you know
When
what I mean?
I'm
Like, if, like, a cannabis company wanted to do a partnership with us, I'd have to really think about that, like, and I have to, even though it might sound like a really fun idea and they might have great ideas, I do have to think that we're working with women who deal with addiction, and, so it's those kinds of things that I do have to have, like a compass for. Does that
Yeah, no, that makes total
Yeah.
sense. It also sounds like, or like what I was hearing, and maybe this is what you meant, maybe it's not, so you tell me, but that the women that you work with, it sounds like they're also so dialed into the mission that even as they're perhaps presenting new ideas, it's not so far out there that you're shocked or that you have to say no. It's kind of like, it sounds like you're all on the same page in terms of the mission, who you serve. And so the
Yep.
ideas, even
Mhm.
if they're new, even if they're different, are still always kind of funneling through that single mission and vision.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you got it. Ha!
What a little genius I am today.
You are. Always, not
Yeah,
just
right. No. Thanks. Um, have you ever had to, in terms of going back to being a wife and a mom, has there ever been times where you've had to make tough choices saying no to your family? Or do you always try to find the yes in that part of your life as well?
One of my philosophies is that family is always first.
Hmm.
Family is always first, and that's how I across the board with everybody. So we're all working moms here. Um, Quite a few of my employees are head of household. They're single moms,
Yeah.
and so you have a kid's game to go to, go. I really feel strongly that family is the most important. So I really don't sacrifice that for
Yeah.
anything. I really don't. I don't think I have.
Wow.
And I don't want my employees to have to do that either.
Yeah.
So,
So, what I'm thinking in my head is just so many of us feel kind of like literally pulled. Like, I'm in my head, it's like a Stretch Armstrong. I
yeah.
think everyone who listens to this podcast will understand what that is. But um, I'm thinking of a Stretch Armstrong, and you have your family on one side and you have your work on the other side. And especially if you love your work, then it becomes really tough. Why do some women have a hard time putting family first or saying no to work or shutting down the computer at 5 p.m.? Why is it so hard, in your opinion?
I honestly feel like a lot of times it's the culture of wherever they're working,
Hmm.
where companies don't respect that as much as they should. I just think you shouldn't have a person choose between their family and their job.
Yeah,
And women work hard. Women want to do their very best. And that's where it's like
100%.
you have to find that balance. But I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I've missed like a hockey game or a volleyball game because I had a work event, but the kids understand that because
Right.
They know if I can possibly be there, I will.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say that I've been to every single, but I hope that does that make sense? Like, I
No,
do
that does make sense.
keep that balance, but I honestly do feel like if more companies would understand that and give their employees that flexibility to be with their family,
Mhm.
and I think that COVID maybe did help that a little bit, letting people work from home more and all that, where it
Yeah,
makes it easier to balance. But I do think women are hard on themselves and put a lot of pressure on their own
I think
self,
that's true.
right?
I think that's
'Cause
true.
we just do.
Yeah. Yeah. I was interviewing my friend Jessie Colbert, who is in the maternal health space in Massachusetts, like lobbying legislature, all that kind of stuff. And we were talking about this, and she was kind of just like, because I'm me, and I'm like, how do you? And she's like, I'm not getting everything done. She's like, I only have but so many hours in a day, and that's that. And I'm like, the wisdom of, right, that's kind of, in my opinion, why these multi-generational relationships are so important, because I know that I need this, and I know other women my age need this too. As a older millennial, we need women like looking back and saying, no, 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 you know, it's not all going to get done. It's not all going to look perfect. You have to let it go. You have to just do what you can do and let the rest go. Because I feel like the larger culture is saying, no, 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 burn yourself out, do it all, be it all, have it all, look amazing at drop off. Our social conditioning is not always the healthiest for us personally and
No,
professionally.
I agree, it's the pressure, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's be honest, the work will always be there, but time with your kids that you miss, you can never get back.
Never.
You
Yeah.
know, they grow with a blink of an eye. They're adults, and you miss those times, you can't get that back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
You know,
true.
the emails are always gonna sit there until you get to them, as you know,
That's so
and,
true.
it's true, like, the culture that I try to create here is when you're done at work, don't be sending emails at 9 o'clock. I don't want you on there at 9 o'clock, and I really try not to text or email or reach out to anyone after hours because then they feel like they need to respond. So
Yes.
it's like, don't. So I'm the opposite. I'm like, don't respond to,
I
if
love
I have to, I'm like, respond to this tomorrow, things like that.
Right, right. I'm sure that you leading in that way has an impact and a ripple effect across, the women who come into contact with you. I'm sure that it changes how they work, how they view work as well, which I think is important, right? That's how we shift culture.
It is. You have to take care of your people. You have to take care of each other. And,
Yeah.
that creates like a strong team. And I think all of my staff have said, it's this flexibility that you can't get anywhere else. That it's
Yeah.
just, and we're a nonprofit. I can't pay them half as much as I would like to pay everybody. So if there's anything I can give them and the flexibility, is the thing that I can give them, that's what I'm going to give.
So you're clearly changing your employees' lives by making sure that they have some semblance of balance. Like, how do you know that you're changing your clients' lives? Do you have stats on how many women get and retain their jobs? Like, what do you look for to know that Dress for Success Boston specifically is successful?
Yeah, we do keep track of that. Women who are working, we have our professional women's group, and these are the women who are working. So they're in this group. And they've
Okay,
been with us, some have been with us for a while. So I've seen them grow in their jobs and in their careers.
wonderful.
Some have started their own nonprofits.
Okay,
So, I do get to see that. And we do, one thing we do when a woman comes to our space is like a little boutique. And have you been to visit yet?
I have not.
You need to come visit us
I
some.
I would love to.
Okay.
I'm considering this my invitation to come.
Yes, you have an
Okay,
open invite, so we'd
thank you.
love to have you come because it's like a beautiful boutique, the space, it's,
Wow.
like, really nice, and we ask when the women leave, we have them fill out a survey, like, "Do you feel more confident now than you
Mhm.
did when you came in?" And I will tell you that 99% do. So that's a measure, because what
Right.
we're trying to do is instill confidence, so we measure that. Um, the job placement part is tricky. We do know they get a job because they come back for that second appointment.
Okay.
But sometimes if they don't need us, we never see them again, and
Okay.
sometimes we just never see them again for whatever reason, just because of
Right.
they're in transition or whatever. Um, so we do try to track as much information as we can about our women so we know that they're being successful, and we do know a lot of come around full circle are now donors or volunteers.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Wow.
we do see it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how does someone get to access services?
So the 2, prerequisites for women to come here is that they need to be looking for a job or an internship,
Okay.
um, and they need to be referred by another agency. So that's how we know. So we work with, like, I mean, in our lifetime, we've worked with over, like, 400 agencies that
Wow.
send so they call and they'll set up appointments for their women. And
Like
then
social service type
yep,
agencies?
shelters,
Okay.
Office of Returning Citizens, we work with them from women coming out of prison,
Okay.
um, rehab programs, like Women's Lunch Place, Rosie's Place, JVS,
Mm-hmm.
the workplace. So all of these agencies refer women to us. And if a woman calls on her own, we'll set her up with an agency so she can come through. So
Okay.
I don't want to make it difficult for a woman to come here. It just helps to know that they're coming through an agency. And the other thing that we do is we help women who have court appearances. Just think
Okay.
about any other
Oh,
situation where you're judged by your appearance. That's one.
right.
So
Wow.
we'll help women with that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you noticed, like, you know, because you're kind of directly connected to, what's happening on the ground in the workforce. What are you seeing in the workforce just for women generally? Are you seeing um we talked about how hard it is to get a job right now, but are you seeing more opportunities? Are you seeing more virtual opportunities so that women do have the flexibility? Like what's work looking like right now for your clients?
That's a really interesting question. It's still very diverse, I will tell you that. But there are more positions that are hybrid
Okay.
or remote. So, I mean, COVID threw us all for a loop.
Yeah. Well,
And right? And
yeah.
it was a kicker for me because we had a full boutique of clothing and we couldn't give it to the women who needed it. So
Just because you couldn't be in person for a while?
we couldn't because the building that we're in right now is owned by the city of Boston and it's under the Boston Public Health Commission. Strict about not opening the building. So we just
Wow.
couldn't get in. So we made our what we call our suiting program, we made it virtual.
Okay.
So we would set up a client with a volunteer like on Zoom, and then we'd shop Amazon and the clothing would be shipped directly to her.
Wow.
So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, we kept it going. We got extra funding. The COVID funding was very helpful with those
Yeah,
kinds of
I
things, so
bet.
we were able to do it. We still do virtual suitings as needed,
Mhm.
but they're expensive, so we don't do them unless they're needed.
Right.
But I've seen the way people dress has changed incredibly, as I'm sure you've
Right.
noticed.
Yeah,
Everybody,
well, yeah. Yeah,
right? So the idea of professional attire has really changed.
it has.
So, like, what we stock is totally different than what we stocked before. It's
Wow.
really interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Dresses, more cardigans, things like that. Um, I feel like there's more opportunity. We're starting to see more women coming in, which is it
Yes.
makes me feel hopeful. That
Yes.
there's more openings for women, and some women are just coming to get clothing for a virtual interview. And,
Okay.
so We still dress them from head to toe, even though they're just doing a Zoom call, because why not, right?
Right, right, of
That's what we're
course.
here for. But
Yes.
I do think there's more opportunity, and I think there's also, the trades, which they need women in
Mhm,
these jobs, and they
mhm,
pay well, and you
mhm.
don't have to have a college. You're hearing that a lot. There's a name for it. What's it called? Like an alternative
Right, yeah.
career path. So, we have one woman, it's so interesting. She drives like heavy machinery, like she's in the construction business, so we're seeing women going into construction and different trades. And so it has changed a little bit. I guess I would
Okay.
say it has,
Yeah, I love that.
and the
It's
idea of professional. So women going into construction, for example, they need a pair of steel toed boots, which are very expensive. So we'll
mhm.
put them on our virtual suiting program so they can get exactly what they need. Because workplace attire is very different now. Mm.
Mm.
Really interesting, isn't it?
That's really interesting, and it's also so great to hear that you are able to meet each woman where they are. The funds aren't unlimited. So you have to be really mindful of everything, and so I makes me so happy and hopeful that you have all these avenues for even just what workplace attire looks like for different women. That's just so cool.
Yeah, it
Ah,
is. Oh, you know what I didn't even tell you?
what?
Now
Tell
we
me,
gotta
tell
forget
me.
about it because it's kind of new. We have a mobile unit. We have
Oh,
a van. It's like a transit van that on the inside looks like our boutique. So so we can our take the work on the road. So we've
shut
been
up.
Yeah, so we can go into communities now and dress women who need it.
Wow.
We're finding that transportation can be an issue for people.
Yes.
So, and the girls, like the young girls, we did the whole thing at Quincy College. They had like a job fair, so we took the van over there and we had like blazers for the girls to wear. So, um, so that's another way that we're providing the service. And that was one of those yes things. That was one of those things where I'm like, let's get a mobile unit. Let's just see if we can get funding
Mhm.
for it. And lo and behold, we got funding for it. And I was so not prepared
Wow.
to do it, but I did. So we did, and it's doubled the number of women we can serve per month.
Wow. How long have you had the mobile unit?
It just launched like in the spring, this past
Okay.
spring. I mean, we served in one day 25 women, which
Wow.
that's like
Yeah, that's a lot.
that's a lot. So I feel like that makes me hopeful too that we can reach more women.
That makes me hopeful too. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, it's got to be interesting, right? Because Massachusetts has we're so rich, and yet there are major inequality. Do you rely more on corporate funding, government funding? Is donor funding huge part of how you're able to continue your day-to-day operations?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way we can do it. So fortunately, we purposefully did not seek federal or state funding
Okay.
ever, really,
Okay.
just because you know how it is. There's a lot
Yeah.
of work involved and it can be gone one year. So
Yeah.
we mostly private foundations, corporations, individuals.
Wow.
That's how we get it done. We would do like one big event every year. We have our 25th gala coming up.
25. Oh my goodness.
Yes, November 10th is
November
our
10th.
25th. Um
Wow.
and you were a part of
Yeah.
one of our events.
Yeah.
So,
That's
um
huge.
so that's how we bring in the money.
So for the everyday average person like myself who just wants to help, is the best thing to do to give money? Is it to give clothing? Is it to volunteer? What are all the ways that people can support Dress for Success?
Yeah, I mean, funding, of course, is top. It helps us
Always.
to keep going. But we rely on volunteers too. We always need volunteers, and volunteers can, help dress clients if that's what they like to do. We have some volunteers who just like to work with inventory, like, they just like to help us sort through these are, like, the organized types of people who are really good at that.
Yeah,
Um, we have, we have volunteers help with fundraising or career coaching, and so we really rely on volunteers. Clothing donations as well, but I will tell you, we get inundated with clothing.
I bet.
We
Yeah,
really do.
yeah,
So we're lucky. I mean, that's where the Boston area is very generous is
right,
with the clothing. It's
right.
it's tricky though because everyone's idea of what's appropriate for the workplace is very different. So you wouldn't believe some of the things we've gotten over the years. Bathing suits, nightgowns,
Oh my god.
a wedding gown. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So, but
Wow.
I mean, really, we do rely on people in the community to help us to do what we do because we're a staff of 5.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We're very small.
Yeah, wow, okay, so you really are powered by volunteers because you couldn't possibly do all that you do without people helping you.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And do you require people listening, listen closely if you're in Boston, because this is all for us. Do you require any minimum number of hours? How does the volunteer process work?
We don't have like a minimum number of hours. We love for people to commit. If they can commit for a year, that would be great.
Okay, good to
Um,
know.
we do have some volunteers who literally have been with us since like we started almost 25
Stop.
years ago, which is unbelievable to me.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So no, I mean it's very flexible. We do have some women who take shifts, like some women will come in like every Tuesday morning is
Okay.
Jane will come in and but then we also have volunteers who fill in as needed. So we'll say, we need someone for this day. We're
Mhm.
open one Saturday a month, so we need volunteers for that day.
Mhm.
When we now that we're going out in the mobile unit, we need volunteers to help with that. So we love our volunteers. We really do.
Like people are always like, "How can I help? What can I do?" Right? We never want to feel useless or helpless. So thank you for giving us a clear vision of how people can be involved.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. Let's go to a deeply emotional place. How has this work changed you?
Oh God, that's such a tough question. Um,
I bet.
that's such
Same,
a tough
same.
question. Um, I'm gonna be completely honest, because that's the only way I know to be.
Please.
Um, I when I took this role, I had never been an executive director. I was the executive director, the first executive director for this organization. I'd never done that before. I was a grant writer. I had been in the development field. I had done fundraising of all different kinds, but I had never been an executive director. So I had massive imposter syndrome when I got this job. I was like, "Oh my god, what am I doing? I was not a good dresser." That was why I've become a better dresser, I have to say, like, being surrounded by fashionistas every day is, like, rubbed off on me a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a better sense of fashion. But and you know what's so interesting? I know I come from a theater background, but I was petrified of public speaking when I took this job.
I
And
bet.
I took the job for that reason because I knew I was gonna have to force myself to do it. So I joined Toastmasters, which actually saved my life.
Wow.
And now I it's my job, like, and I'm very comfortable with it now. Um, but yeah, I think I've embraced the leadership, like being a leader. Still sometimes I doubt myself, which I think we all do.
Yeah,
I mean, we're human, right? You
exactly.
wonder if you're doing it right. Should I be? Because I'm not like an aggressive, assertive type of person, but I'm strong, but I'm
Right.
soft on the outside. Um, and I think that the way you lead people is not by walking in front of them and having them follow you. It's by walking behind them and pushing them up, lifting them up. So I feel like I've learned that over the years that I don't need to just come in and point and like tell people what to do. That's not my job. Like my job is to empower people to do the very best they can. So I feel like I've become a leader, lo and behold, which still even kind of now feels funny to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've changed a lot, and I think that I've never really been judgmental anyway, but I feel like I'm very open to people and non-judgmental.
Hmm. Do you have any secrets of how you worked through the imposter syndrome?
Fake it till you make it, baby.
I hear that.
You
I
know?
hear that. You only can keep going, right? You can keep going or you can quit.
Exactly. I just yeah, I learned as much as I could. I went to as many like seminars. I feel like you can never know everything. I still do. Like you
Yes.
can never know everything. You always can be learning. So I
So
think just trying to, get used to myself in this role has been something that I've done.
thank you for that. I
Mm.
think it's important for people to always hear, that these things don't always come natural to us, that we find our way, we grow into it, we figure it out, but it's usually messy. It's
Yeah,
usually messy, you
it's
know?
true. It's true. It's not a smooth ride. Let's put it that way
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
paper. It's
We
fun.
should never expect shouldn't ever expect a smooth ride. It's just nothing's like that.
No, no, it would be too boring anyway.
Yeah,
If you
it
were like
would.
that.
It
Yeah,
would. You're right.
yeah.
So, I'm a wellness girly, so I have to ask, uh, do you have a way that you keep yourself grounded in terms of wellness? How do you manage your stress? That sort of thing.
Yes. I actually am a competitive bodybuilder, so I do that on the side.
She says at the end of the podcast.
I'm getting
What?
all red. It's a hobby. I've always been like fit. Like fitness is important to me. I think it's important to keep moving, especially as you get older.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I was like 49 and I was like, I'm just going to the gym. What's my goal? And I found this like bikini competition thing and I was like, all right, sign myself up. So I did it, right? And I did well. Like I placed. I usually do place. So I've been
Wow.
doing it. So I'm 55 now. So I've been doing it for like 6 years. Um, that the gym is my happy place. Like that's where I can put on my music and just do what I need to do. And it's the discipline that comes along with it, and the focus that it's not just the body part of it, the mind part of it really it's just I guess I'm kind of addicted to it. Like I love it. So I'll probably do it as long as I'm physically able to do it. But I'm
Yeah.
competing with like 20-year-olds up there on stage. But
That's so
I know, and
cool.
but it's fun. It's something that I really like to do.
That just oh my gosh. Okay. Final question. Is there a mantra or phrase or piece of advice that you live by that you would share with us as a parting gift?
I have two that are like kind of a little bit. They're very different, but they help me. I mean, kindness really does matter. Like kindness works. It just works. And to be unapologetic. I've learned that over the past like year or my last, in the new year I try to pick a word to live
Yeah.
by that year. My word last year was unapologetic. And I've kind of carried it over because it's helped me a lot.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well said. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was so much fun.
That
Thank
was
you for having
fun.
me.
Uh, we have to okay, I'm gonna come to the office,
Great.
to the boutique, and one day I would love to lift weights with you. Like, we have to just do a session, like something fitness oriented. I don't know, but I'm gonna manifest it because that would just be so cool.
That could be fun. Or let's do hot yoga or something. I love that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I'm down. Any kind of movement. I'm kind of over the whole dinner and drinks thing. I'm like, let's go to class together. Let's go for a walk.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know what? That's the other thing about this whole like bodybuilding thing is I have a whole new group of friends that I never would have made, and they're all health minded. So that's what we do. Like we'll get together and go for a walk, or we'll go because it's not all about like going out to eat. It's like
I
Let's do
know.
something else, right? Let's go do karaoke.
Yeah,
To do, so it's like I've gotten a whole like tribe of women who with similar interests, and I never, you never think you're going to make new friends when you're older, but I did.
that is the power of
So
fitness.
strong.
Like, you
Just bring
just,
people together. That's what you do.
that's what I do. That's my favorite part, honestly, because I have these incredible people in my life and like, it just drives me forward. I can't even describe to you. I mean, now, like that is for me like one of the most important pieces, if not the most important piece.
It is. It's the most important thing to keep you young and keep you
Yeah.
moving and keep you healthy. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for this incredible conversation.
Ah, thank you.
So just tell everyone if they want to volunteer for Dress for Success, if they want to get in touch with you, they want to learn more, what are all of the channels that they can do that?
Yeah, we have a website. So the easiest way for me to tell you to get there is to go to Google and just type in Dress for Success Boston.
Great.
And you can find us and you can find me on there. Um, really, people can reach out to me directly. Do you want my email or it's on the website? You
Yeah,
can,
people can find it on the website.
yeah,
You're on LinkedIn as well,
yep, we're on social media, like follow us so you can see what's going on. Um, our 25th event is in November and we have a special guest.
Oh,
Ellen Hildebrand is our special guest, the
okay.
local author.
Very
So
cool.
we're very excited about that.
That's
So,
really cool.
but yes, so I would check out the website and reach out directly. We love to hear from people.
Great. Well, Kim, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time.